That's gonna be a great fight. If Errol gonna be himself, he should win. But we don't know what he got left.
Yeah.
So, but if Tim come in and be himself, he'll push Errol to the edge.
Do you think that's like a true 50-50 fight, like a crossroad fight for both those guys?
No, I don't think so. I think Errol probably will.
You know, I'm gonna be in Australia. I'm gonna be.
I know you're gonna be over there. Yeah.
I'm gonna be supporting Spence, rooting him on.
Yeah.
You know, I just like to support, fighters in his own right. I done been in Boots' locker room supporting him. So yeah, it's just crazy how the tables turn. When people get to a certain plateau and they forget about things like that.
We picking Earl. I'm picking
Of course.
Of course. Sean and Sean.
Of course.
Yeah.
Sean better.
We gotta see.
Tim Tszyu did good in his fight. And he fought a decent guy too.
Yeah.
And he did good. So I'm not saying Tim is finished. But if Errol Spence has nothing left, then he's gonna get then Tim Tszyu is gonna beat him.
But if he has something left, then he
he's
could
got
win.
then he could win.
So it's not like the headline said.
But he doesn't want to take a chance in a tune-up fight because he could get his ass kicked in a tune-up fight.
But he never took tune-up, Trevor. It's not.
When was he retired? What do you mean he never took tune-up fight?
I think it's good for Spence. Tim Tszyu is a lot to bite off of. A first fight back coming off his destruction of Terence Crawford. I just think that's. If I had to pick, I would lean more towards Tim Tszyu. It seems like I don't know how Spence, I just don't know, you know what I'm saying? And the way he looked. I don't want to see Spence fight again. That's just me. And it's emotional for me because I'm a fighter. And Spence, I would rather Spence just go out with that right there and just remember him for being great in his time and just fighting a guy that was better than him. Like, I don't want to see him lose.
Is Errol Spence about to remind everyone why he is still elite? Or will Tim prove the doubters wrong? Boxing experts are completely divided, and the predictions are getting intense.
Tim got to come out and be aggressive with a jab and not getting caught up in little arguments where they going back and forth with each other. If they sitting there trading back and forth, they either one of them got a shot. But whoever's being a little bit smarter than the other, I think has a chance. I think that's how this fight goes. I don't think Errol Spence just going there and just bully Tim Tszyu. But I think it'll be spots where he can play bully. I don't think Tim Tszyu could go in there and just do what he wants to Errol, but it's going to be spots he can get off. Whoever's the smarter fighter wins this fight.
Stepping into the discussion, Sean Porter and Terence Crawford break down how Spence versus Tszyu could unfold, sharing bold predictions that have fans debating the outcome.
B-side is more towards Tim. I'm definitely towards Errol. I just feel like Errol, even though we haven't seen him in 3 years now, I think he still has more than enough to beat Tim. All that said, I hate saying it because I've been over there so many times broadcasting for Tim. I got to look this man in the eyes, and for the first time, I'm gonna have to look him in the eyes like, yo, I know you heard everything I said. So
I told him to his face.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
but it's cool. It's cool to be. See, and this is what I don't understand why people take it so hurtful. When we in like England and places like that, or overseas, like they tell you, and it's okay. Like, hey, you're a great fighter, but I think he's gonna win.
Meanwhile, Keith Thurman leans toward Tim, arguing that Tsyu's experience at the higher weight class could create serious problems for Spence on fight night.
Tim Tszyu, because he already from a higher division, when welterweights are adding more weight, a lot of times they're just giving themselves an excuse to be slower, in my opinion, because let's say the fight's at 158, right? And then they're gonna rehydrate, right? So he's gonna be 168, 173 by the time he gets in the ring anyways.
It's actually right at 158, actually.
Yeah, so, but, you put a solid 10 to 13 pounds on, rehydrating and everything.
Adding another perspective, Renowned trainer Robert Garcia explains why Spence would benefit more from a tune-up fight instead of jumping straight into a dangerous clash with Tim.
Inactivity, not fighting.
He always fought.
Yeah, but he didn't fight every month.
No, he hasn't fought in what, 3 or 4 years. So now, anybody coming back from a 3 or 4 year layoff is gonna want a tune-up fight. Unless you're getting paid a lot of money and you know you don't have much left. Make that money.
Yeah.
Understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying he's done.
If you get 5 or 10 or 15 million, it doesn't matter.
I'm not saying he's done. I'm not saying he's finished. He could have everything left. He could be world champion again.
On the other hand, Sean insists Spence is the more complete fighter, pointing to his sharper ring IQ and much wider variety of punches as the biggest advantage over Tim.
With Terence, the kid really is special. Like the dude really is special, and I know
he's not Dennis Nurse.
I know these things about him. Like he has the ability to see your balance and make you move. You know what I mean? Like he's really like one of those master kung fu artists, but in boxing. You know what I mean? So he's a masterful boxer. You know? Yeah. And so those are the kind of things that we're looking at Tim Tszyu that doesn't have that kind of style. Mm-hmm. Tim Tszyu has more of the style that made Errol Spence Jr. the boogeyman. Errol Spence was fighting guys that couldn't move. Errol Spence was fighting guys that weren't fast. Errol Spence was fighting. Errol Spence could move. Oh no! I mean that fight was great until it ended. That fight was amazing until it ended. Yeah. It was a great fight until it ended. And again, a fighter that challenged him. But outside of him, outside of me,
yourself,
Lamont Peterson still right there in front of him. Yeah. Everybody else,
Stanny.
Everybody else were fighters that plot, that stand right in front of you, that want to exchange and want to catch you. And you know, to me, this is a perfect fight for both guys. Styles make fights, and I think that both guys got perfect styles to beat one another. I disagree. I think Errol Spence is the sharper fighter. I do. I think he's the sharper fighter. I think he's crispier. And I think his shot, his punch selection is better. And I think that he has the better shot of landing that right punch at that right time. And for the sake of possibly losing my job in Australia, we might need to edit this.
No. They want you. They're gonna want that, man. They want.
See what Sean said? No, it's gold.
Yeah.
Hey, if you make it happen.
At a time when Robert Garcia believes Spence should take a tune-up fight first, Roy Jones Jr. sees it differently. He argues that Spence has never backed away from a challenge or looked for easy fights. While Tim presents a serious test, Roy believes Spence's confident mindset and fearless approach will give him the edge when the moment arrives.
But the biggest thing I gotta say that I love about Errol Spence is that Errol don't want no easy fights. Errol don't want to fight guys that are nobody.
He AKA no tune-up.
No, he don't want no tune-up. He wants challenges. You understand me? He wants challenges. And for him to challenge a person like Tim Tszyu, when Tim Tszyu has been regularly fighting for the last 3 years, he's been not doing much. That says a lot about Errol, but that tells you exactly how much fight is still left in Errol. Errol is a guy who's always coming to the party to dance. He don't have time to play no games. And you gotta love that about Errol.
He's always been that guy, even in the amateurs, you know, and I've always had respect for Errol Spence because he's a real fighter. You know, he's not a guy that talks a lot, but he brings a big stick to the battle.
Spence will raise his level against Tim, forcing him to be sharper than ever. Ward also disagrees with Robert's concern about skipping a tune-up fight. Instead, he sees it as a sign of courage, believing Spence is willingly stepping into a dangerous challenge rather than taking the easy path.
Obviously, being 36 years of age, being off as long as he hasn't had the tune-up fights. And by the way, I need my tune-up. Give me my tune-ups, because boxing is hard. I need my tune-up because I need to sharpen my tools. I want to make another paycheck before I make the big paycheck, but that's just me. I need my tune-ups, but I respect this brother because he's not with the tune-up. And you got to know who you are. If Errol knows that I can't really get up for that guy, then I can only get up for these type of guys. You gotta know yourself. And Errol Spence knows himself. So the respect is always gonna be there for him, and we will unpack this fight.
There has been growing concern about Spence's preparation, with many pros admitting they have not seen much from his camp. Still, the updates tell a different story, as his lean physique on social media suggests he is training harder than ever. Caleb Plant believes Tim is walking into trouble and insists Spence's courage and determination after such a long layoff will carry him to victory.
I want to get into like your drop that dropped last month, Revenge Tour, the brand idea, right? Did it come from the Canelo loss? Was that the fuel behind the actual name?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's like the genesis of it when I really put the name together. But you know, for a long time, I've really been into fashion, and I think it stems from like not having those things as a kid. You know, having messed up shoes and clothes, and not having the other things that other kids had at school. You're like, man, one day I want this, and one day, and then you go down the rabbit hole, and you're like, there's something that I felt like made me happy, or you know, something that I was attracted to. But after the Canelo fight, after I lost, you know, I'm like, man, I want to get my revenge. You know, I want to get my revenge. And I've been trying to think of a name for long.
As the debate around Spence's comeback continues, Boots Ennis has a strong message for everyone writing him off. Despite the long layoff and the tough loss to Crawford, Boots believes people are overlooking what Spence is still capable of. Ahead of the July 25th showdown with Tim, he warns that counting out a fighter of Spence's caliber could be a costly mistake.
What Spence should be doing, Spence should be Spence, man, but he must move his head, though. Because Spence should come right at you and just throw the punches. He got to, and work on catching them shots. You know what I mean? If you ain't going to move your head, you got to catch some shots. You know what I mean? With your hands, you know?
Decision and stoppage. How's that fight done?
I think it's going to be a stoppage. I think it's going to be a stoppage. Somebody getting stopped.
Just as Boots predicts a stoppage win, Tim Bradley steps in with an even stronger warning for Tim. He believes the punishment Tim has already taken throughout his career has added too much wear and tear. According to Bradley, those battles will catch up with him, allowing Spence to break him down and score a dramatic knockout victory.
I think he gonna beat Tim Tszyu. He gonna knock him out. Tim Tszyu is done. He 31 and he done. Too much wear and tear. He got his ass knocked out a couple of times. You know, mentally. He seemed like he's strong mentally, right, and he wanted, but his body is not responding, you know, like it should be. You know, a lot of big knockouts and wars for Tim Tszyu, man. He get hit too much, you know, and that's what happens when you get hit too much. Your time, hey, it's up real fast. Yeah, your career is short like a mug. So I got Errol Spence in that fight. But it's good to see Errol back, man. I miss Errol, for real, man.
Sending a direct warning to Tim, Bradley believes fans are overlooking one important reality. He argues that Spence's stoppage loss to Crawford does not erase everything he has accomplished. In his view, Spence remains a seasoned veteran with experience against elite opponents. Meanwhile, Tim has been hurt too many times, and Bradley believes there is little left in the tank.
I got Errol. Errol gonna stop his ass. Errol gonna stop your ass, Tim Tszyu. Yeah. The battle of the veterans. That's it, man. Errol is a vet. He's a damn vet, man. He been through a lot too. You know, he only got stopped one fight. I mean, you know, as far as, you know, in the ring, not a whole lot of traumatic experience besides that Crawford one, you know, but he took the right appropriate time off. That car accident, that's a big thing. That alcohol definitely is a big thing, but shit, other than that, I think he might be better off. I think he might be better off than Tim Tszyu right now. Tim Tszyu just ain't clicking. And everybody got his damn number. Punch with his ass. He can't take it on the chin.
At a time when Bradley believes Tim has nothing left, Lonnie B sees the complete opposite. He insists Tim still carries plenty of power and questions whether Spence can perform at his best after such a long layoff. Based on Tim's most recent fight, Lonnie believes his boxing skills remain sharp and effective. Those qualities convince him that Tim has what it takes to take over the fight and come away with the victory.
I think Tim Tszyu was doing good. The headbutt was nasty. The cut, it was nasty, but I think Tim Tszyu still got something left in the tank. It seems like his reflexes are there. His eyes is still there where he can see shots coming. His defense is still there. So I wouldn't count Tim Tszyu out. I think he still got something left in the tank. And I would love to see him get a shot, man. I still think he got something left in the
As the discussion continues, prominent trainer Derek James also shares his thoughts. He believes Tim is a dangerous fighter, but says he will quickly realize what he's up against once he steps into the ring with Spence. James describes Spence as a completely different level of fighter whose experience against boxing's biggest names will make the difference.
I'm
I don't really know. I mean, I don't really know. I think Errol was going to do whatever he's going to do, but I think that, you know, Tim Tszyu is a very tough fighter, and you got to be able to use your feet, and you got to be able to box him, because if not, he's going to try to bang you out. So, you know, you just got to be prepared for that.
Spence's comeback still comes with plenty of questions, and only fight night will reveal the answers. Even so, the excitement keeps building as experts continue backing his return. Many believe the layoff has refreshed him, while warnings for Tim keep growing louder. The prediction from several respected voices remains the same. Spence will break Tim down and leave him struggling from the opening bell to the final round.
You know, he's a bull. You know, he comes at you real fast. You know, he got fast feet. You know, he got fast hands. He throws awkward punches. You know, so Richard, you ain't seen nothing like Richard before. He's something new. I'm not really versed on Atama. I never watched him fight, but they say he's pretty good. So I don't watch how he fight. My biggest thing is Caballero. I'm really high on Caballero, as far as outside of Richard. You know, the heavyweights. He seems like the more serious threat to Usyk. I watched Wardley. I wasn't impressed. So yeah. I don't know about the 90s heavyweights. Them boys was Riddick Bowe, Holyfield.
Adding his perspective, Bernie the boxer believes things could get very dangerous for Tim once the fight begins. He points out that boxing history is filled with great fighters who returned from long layoffs and delivered unforgettable comeback performances. Bernie believes Spence has that same champion mentality and expects him to make a statement with a dominant victory.
You know, you got yet to find a complete heavyweight like Riddick Bowe.
Yeah.
For real.
Well, I guess it's more of like, because this current era is like the big men, right? So
Yeah,
it seems like
230, 260.
right.
Yeah.
So in bringing even Agate Cabral, it seems like guys who are kind of a little bit smaller, but there's a lot of technical movement and a lot of things where even Cabral, a lot of the body shots, I'm high on him.
Yeah.
At that point, what do you think that you guys bring to Richard that already makes him great? Is it more of the game planning or tweaking certain stuff that he does?
Yeah, we don't want to change the style too much. We just want to make sure that, you know, he's doing things correctly. You know, he'll run you out of that ring. You know, that's his style. He's a pressure fighter.
Questions continue to surround Spence's comeback, with many wondering whether the former welterweight king still has what it takes. But Brian Mendoza offers a completely different view after spending time in Spence's camp and watching him spar. He reveals that Spence is taking this fight very seriously and has been sharpening his technique every single day ahead of Tim.
Errol Spence, for those that think that he's done, he's just showing up for a check. I've heard that a lot. You know, a lot of people critiquing. He's not working like someone that's showing up for a check. The work ethic I got to see in the couple weeks I was there, and obviously just from literally being in the ring with him, sharing the ring, working with him, there was adjustments every day. He's not someone that's just showing up and clocking in and be like, all right, let's go through the motions and do the same thing. He was making adjustments. I was catching him with shots the first day we sparred. The second day we sparred, those shots were not landing. I had to figure something else out.
It's Errol Spence.
Exactly, yeah. People forget, they know he's a pressure fighter. He likes to work the body. He tries to break you down. Errol Spence is known just to try to break your will.
Furthermore, Brian gives a closer look inside the camp and what he has witnessed firsthand. He says the intensity has been remarkable, and the way Spence has responded in training is turning heads. Mendoza believes the relentless pressure fighter will return on fight night, reminding the boxing world of the toughness and determination that made him one of the sport's best.
People forget he was a boxer as an amateur. He was an Olympian, and he used to box people. It's just that he found out he can run people over, and he got a little too happy with that, but it's worked out with him. And obviously, it's still dangerous. They're wearing small gloves. So, he's quick with certain things, and if he catches Spence, maybe he gets him out of there and he's able to. But I feel like the pressure that Spence is going to be able to put on, and because one thing is I did check Spence's punch resistance. I can definitely say I sent some missiles his way, and I honestly felt like he responded well anytime I did land something. He wasn't like running away. He wasn't like buzzed, falling on.
Adding more insight, Zab Judah insists this is a tailor-made fight for Spence. He believes choosing Tim means stepping into a matchup where style plays directly into Spence's strengths. Judah argues that Spence has already dealt with similar pressure fighters before Crawford, and this time he is set up to dominate and control the fight from start to finish.
And that's the kind of fight that Errol Spence needs. A guy like Tim Tszyu. While Tim Tszyu possesses a fight, he's going to stand right in front of Errol Spence and he's going to fight. That's the fight that we've known Errol Spence to dominate guys in. You know what I'm saying? We know that for anybody standing in front of Errol Spence toe-to-toe, he's going to destroy them. So, I mean, this might be the perfect opponent that Errol Spence needs to come back to show the world who Errol Spence really is. I believe he got the perfect opponent.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Stylistic.
100%.
This is let's go. Let's minus the Crawford fight, guys. Let's go back before the Crawford fight. And we know the big fish. Anybody standing in front of him.
A style expert believes this matchup actually favors Spence, especially with a new trainer in his corner, making things unpredictable with both fighters adjusting and evolving. The situation becomes even more interesting as the boxing world watches closely, expecting a fight where one wrong move could change everything and prove all predictions wrong once again.
I think that Tim Tszyu possesses the perfect style. He's gonna be right there. You know what I'm saying? You know, he lacks a lot of defense. You know what I'm saying? Maneuvers, and I think that's where the downfall is gonna be at. Other than that, he's a very tough fighter. He comes forward. He has a lot of heart. You know what I'm saying? You know, he's very. But a style like a Errol Spence walk down. That's not gonna be. That's woo. That's woo. That's watch what I say. No cap.
Yeah. No, I agree. His coming back. Now he's come back and he brought Rodney Shields in his camp, a former trainer of yours. Tell me, man, what do you think about the addition?
So the addition that he put onto himself is experience.
While Spence's comeback raises questions, there's still layers unfolding in his journey outside the ring. He continues to have strong support from fans who closely watch how he handles pressure and expectations. At a time when many big names take tune-up fights, he chooses a harder path, stepping straight into a dangerous challenge that defines his mindset.
Going in against Tszyu right out of this layoff, I'm proud that he is taking no tune-ups. I think that's actually the right choice. Don't come in soft. If you believe, if you're that guy, if this wrist was really a rejuvenation, if he goes in there and gets rid of Tszyu, then he's 100% back. And if he goes in there and washes some nobody or some walkover fight, the questions remain. I like the approach. It gives me confidence that he might be right about how he's feeling about this being the time.
On the other hand, Tim has been sent a cold warning, with some experts sensing this fight may not reach the full 12 rounds. The prediction is blunt, suggesting Spence will push a brutal pace and force an early finish. Many even believe he could end it quicker than Crawford did, adding more pressure on Tim heading into fight night.
Handshake after the fight, but now it's just pure businessman, you know?
Yeah. In your mind, I know we said about breaking Errol, but in your mind, you must feel like this doesn't see 12 rounds on your side.
For sure. That's what I'm going for.
Mm-hmm. I was reading an interview done with Sporting News Australia, I think, and you said about beating him better than Crawford did. Is that also the mentality in your mind as well?
Well, that's his last hooray that he had, you know? I want him to come back to the memories and do it quicker than Crawford.
Mikey Garcia shares his thoughts, calling it a great matchup for both fighters. He notes that neither is fully in their prime anymore and highlights that Tim has been hurt multiple times. Garcia emphasizes the importance of Spence's work rate, while also suggesting that fighting in Australia could bring an unexpected challenge that might surprise him on fight night.
Spence has been fighting, what, like two years?
Since the Crawford fight, yeah.
3 years, maybe 2 years. That's a good fight for him to come back, because Tim Tszyu is also not at his prime anymore. He's been hurt, he's been knocked out. So that's actually a pretty good matchup for a return. It's also a good matchup for Tim. If he beats Errol Spence,
big name,
he gets another shot at something bigger. So that's a good matchup for both, actually. But he's going to Australia, so that's a little iffy there.
Joel Camilleri weighs in on Spence versus Tszyu, saying the build-up has been intense and everything looks sharp in camp. He points out that Tim's main focus is improving his defense and making sure it is at its peak. Camilleri also explains how Tim plans to approach Spence's style and adjust his strategy for a tough fight.
Spence at his best is a dangerous fighter, but if Spence comes back not as good as he kind of was, Tim is up and ready to go. He can beat him, but my only worry is defense. And that's ultimately himself. Like, we talk on the phone.
158 pounds, that's big. Tim's never fought at such a high weight. Errol's last fight, 2023, I was there when he fought Bud. He fought at 147. They've got the deal done at 158. That tells me Errol's coming in real big.
He's big, but there's a photo of me, Nikita, and Tim when I went over to manage their gym and head coach in their gym. I look like a lightweight compared to them. They're big. I walk in the ring, I was on the phone to Tim the day of my fight.
Despite being on Tim's team, Joel is not dismissing Spence at all, calling him a beast who will bring a lot of danger on fight night. He highlights the contrasting attributes of both fighters and how their styles collide. Still, he ultimately insists that Tim has the tools to break Spence down and secure a dominant win.
And Spence's got great timing and power. Tim's got good accuracy. Well, maybe he'll increase his power at middleweight, but I just think that hey, it's a dangerous fight, and we all know that.
Who wins it?
Oh.
It's a hard one.
You know, it's a hard one.
I can't really give an opinion on it.
I can't. I want Tim to win. I really do want him to win. You told me to bet my house on it. You know, I'm not going to put my house on Tim. I think Spence at his best was a better fighter than Tim, but I'm 100% Team Tim Tszyu, and I hope he destroys him.
This fight is turning into a true test of belief, skill, and timing, with experts still split on what will happen when the bell rings. Every prediction adds more heat to an already explosive showdown, but only one fighter will prove it right on fight night. Drop your pick in the comments and subscribe for more boxing breakdowns like this.